Hello and welcome to JRR Armory Long Range Shooting Series. Today we are gonna take a ride of the Valkyrie, the 224 Valkyrie that is, which is a brand new cartridge launched in 2018 or the end of 2017, and which brings a lot of promise to the AR-15 platform. So today we are gonna do some ballistics comparison and look at the probability of hit for 224 Valkyrie versus 6.5 Creedmoor, and we'll also compare to the established 223, 308, and just for fun 338 Lapua Magnum. I'll also include some reloading data for those of you who are into reloading. So what is the 224 Valkyrie? This is a new cartridge that fits the AR-15 platform and is being offered in at least 4 different bullet types. In gold medal Sierra Match King 90 grains, a Fusion MSR also 90 grains, Nosler ballistic tip for varmint shooting in 60 grains, and total metal jacket American Eagle in 75 grains. However, for today we are gonna focus on the 90 grains gold medal Sierra Match King. The 224 Valkyrie, it's based on the 6.8 SPC Remington case, and it's neck down to the 22. It has a shorter case than the 223 Remington, and therefore it can work with longer bullets and with much better ballistic performance. The recoil is also much less than other higher caliber cartridges. Today we are gonna focus on the 90 grains Sierra Match King bullet, and you can see on the right side that we can achieve probably 2700 feet per second muzzle velocity in the best case scenario out of the 24-inch barrel. What makes 224 Valkyrie unique is that it brings ballistics performance from much larger calibers to a smaller rifle platform, and therefore I would compare it with a baby 6.5 Creedmoor. So in my opinion, what 6.5 Creedmoor did to the 308, 224 Valkyrie is doing for the 223 cartridge. It also offers less recoil. It's about half of the recoil of the 6.5 Creedmoor, and it's effective for 800 plus meter shots with the 90 grain Sierra Match King, and the G1 ballistic coefficient is 0.563, so this is very, very good ballistic performance. It stays transonic about at 1200 meters, so about 1300 yards more or less. However, the energy remaining at the distance is relatively low, so about 250 feet-pound of energy at 1200 meters, as you can see on the right. So I have modeled using applied ballistics analytics the ballistics performance with a velocity, best case scenario, 2700 feet per second, the energy coming out of the muzzle, 1457 foot-pound of energy. And you can see it offers a very good performance all the way up to about 800 meters, where it drops already below 500 foot-pound of energy. So depending on your application, in the end, this is the biggest disadvantage that I can see for this caliber, that the energy at longer distances is becoming less and less. However, I still like it a lot. I believe it brings a lot of good performance to the AR-15 platform, and therefore it can be very fun to shoot, and also can be very fun to be used at longer ranges, and also in windy conditions it's much more forgiving to wind hold errors. Using the established method I introduced before in the series and the applied ballistics analytics software, I have modeled the probability of hit in the best case scenario. You see the wind standard deviation as 0.5 miles per hour, so basically very good wind knowledge, very good muzzle velocity of 500 feet per second standard deviation, and a rifle shooter precision of 1 MOA. So if we look on the right, on the IPSC target, we have a probability of hit almost 100% at 800 meters, dropping to 90% at 1000 meters. So very good probabilities of hit there. and then diminishing rates of hit afterwards. If we look at the horizontal uncertainty, the wind remains the primary factor at 1600 meters, so 1 mile. And you can see the wind error, how it affects the probability of hit there. On the vertical uncertainty, the muzzle velocity remains the main factor, followed by the rifle temperature, range, and pressure. So basically still the muzzle velocity and the rifle shooter 1 MOA combination will drive vertical uncertainty. When you combine the two factors, you can see the shot simulation at 1 mile with a probability of hit of 32%, and I included the 18-inch and 36-inch circles as well. Price-wise, you can find about $1 per round the gold medal Sierra Match King today in 2018. The muzzle velocities that you can obtain plus minus 50 feet per second I have listed, starting with the best case at 2700. Around 20-inch will be about 2600 feet per second. I would probably say this is the sweet spot, 2022. So it's still easier to carry to some extent, but it depends on your application. If we look at the probability of hit in the middle, I have modeled the different circles that you can find on the MR1 600 yards target. So we have the 6, 12, 18, 24, and 36 inches. And you can see the curves are the probability of hit in the best case scenario for each one of those. I have noted that at 1200 meters it becomes subsonic. So most likely you would want to engage targets under that distance in order to ensure a better hit probability. As you can see on the 36-inch target, we are 100% almost to 1000 meters, 24-inch at 800 meters, and even on the 12-inch target, you are at 90% around 700 meters. So overall, very, very good ballistic performance. As I have noted before, however, the energy starts to diminish at longer ranges. So at 800 meters, we are already below 500 foot-pounds of energy. Let's compare this new cartridge with some of the established cartridges available, and you can see on the left the 224 Valkyrie fits somewhere in between the 5.5 millimeter AR-15 established cartridges, whether it's 223 Remington, 6.5 Grendel or 6.8 SPC, not shown there. And it offers ballistics performance of the bigger brothers in the right side, so the 243, 6.5 Creedmoor and 308 Winchester. So it offers the compact platform AR-15 usage from the left, and it offers distance at least and ballistics performance from the right, however with diminished energy. So let's compare it to the 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 Creedmoor, I'm just gonna give a quick overview. It's used in an AR-10 platform, so it can use a 308 Winchester design. Muzzle velocity we can obtain is around 2800 feet per second in the best case scenario. And it basically offers a very high ballistic performance and ballistic coefficient for an AR-10 or a 308 base rifle. It is effective for 1200 plus meter shots, and the G7 ballistic coefficient for 140 grain bullet is about 0.320. So it's very, very good. It becomes transonic and less than 500 foot-pound at around 1200 meters. So I have modeled similarly with the 224 Valkyrie. So here for the 6.5 Creedmoor, you see the velocity, 2800 feet per second, muzzle velocity, energy, 2438 feet-pound. You can see that it becomes almost subsonic around 1200 meters, and also drops under 500 foot-pound of energy, also at 1200 meters. Looking at the same modeling like we've done before for the 224 Valkyrie, you see 800 meter, 100%. At 90%, we are almost at 1100 meters for the IPSC target, and it goes down from there. The same modeling for the wind and the rifle combination gives you the horizontal uncertainty and the vertical uncertainty driven by muzzle velocity, rifle, range, temperature, and pressure. However, these results are very, very close to the 224 Valkyrie, so as far as ballistic performance, at least, ignoring the energy for a moment, these two cartridges are very similar. Let's bring them side by side. On the left, 224 Valkyrie, on the right, 6.5 Creedmoor. What you can see is that the 6.5 Creedmoor has a slight advantage at the gate with the muzzle velocity slightly higher, and both remain supersonic around 1200 meters, somewhere between 12 and 13. However, the energy, you can see 224 Valkyrie drops below 500 at 800 meters, and the 6.5 Creedmoor gives you an extra 400 meters of energy. The benefits of the Valkyrie is that it has half of the recoil and half the punch. It has roughly the same cost, and however, it drops 200 meters of supersonic range. The advantages for the 6.5 Creedmoor is that it has the same cost, twice the punch and twice the recoil, however, and it offers roughly 200 meter higher supersonic range. So depending what is your application, if you are just shooting targets, the 224 Valkyrie, it's an excellent performer, probably up to 1000 yards. On the other hand, if you need something to happen to the target when it gets hit, the 6.5 Creedmoor might be offering a better energy at destination, and however, it has to be used in a AR-10 equivalent platform. If we compare the two charts for the probability of hits, you can see 224 Valkyrie on the left becoming subsonic around 1200 meters, Creedmoor becoming subsonic around 1400 meters, and the conclusions are pretty much those that I mentioned already. You can see that there is a slight advantage to the 6.5 Creedmoor as far as probability of hit, and that's why I call 224 Valkyrie a baby 6.5 Creedmoor, because basically it offers almost the same ballistic performance in a smaller compact package. So in the end, the question to you will be, what do you want to happen to the target when you hit it, and at what distance is your target? And then you'll be able to make your determination which one is best for you. So how can you get into the game with 224 Valkyrie? You have several options. Savage was one of the early proponents of this cartridge together with Remington. So they introduced an 18-inch barrel MSR. So this is a semi-automatic option. You can buy a whole rifle or you can buy only an upper. In the end, the only parts that are different are the barrel compared to an AR-15. So you need a new barrel, you need a new bolt, not the whole bolt carrier, just a bolt based on 6.8 SPC, and you need the 6.8 SPC mags. And with these three changes, you can convert your AR-15 from a 5.56 to a 224 Valkyrie. However, probably the best choice would be, and a bit more expensive but still reasonable, is to find an upper and basically buy a complete upper. You have it ready with the bolts, everything else in it, and extra mags, and then you can just switch uppers whenever you need. In the middle you see some bolt action options. So if you really want to take advantage of the precision, take it to the next level, maybe shooting targets, the bolt action rifle. One example from Masterpiece Arms, it's a 24-inch barrel. So again, probably 24 is the maximum barrel. You would need to get the full advantage of the powder available in this cartridge and get to the maximum velocity possible. But in the end, make your pick between probably 18 and 24 find your sweet spot, whether it's 20, 22, depending on your application. And many other manufacturers are introducing barrels and uppers or full rifles between 18 to 24. So let's compare now the 224 Valkyrie with the traditional AR-15 223 cartridge you see on the left. So the 223 cartridge, or 5.56x45, is probably the most popular short-range civilian and military rifle cartridge. It's usually effective for about 400 meter shots, and the 77 grain Sierra Match King have a G7 ballistic coefficient of 0.190. It becomes transonic and less than 300 foot-pound at around 600 meters. So you can start to see already that the 224 Valkyrie offers a lot of ballistic advantage to this cartridge. If we look at the probability of hits, in perfect conditions you could ideally stretch this cartridge as well. However, knowing that it becomes subsonic at shorter distances, the probability of hit becomes much less certain after that point. So if we compare now the 1000 meters 224 Valkyrie and the 223 Winchester, knowing that the 223 Winchester becomes subsonic at about 700 meters, as shown on the right, you can clearly see the higher probability of hit from the 224 Valkyrie. So it has roughly 20 to 30% better hit probability, almost the same recoil, slightly higher than the 5.56. It has twice the punch left beyond 800 meters. However, it costs more, roughly 3 times the cost, and in exchange it offers 500 meters more supersonic range. On the other hand, the 223 is still very good at lower distances. However, at longer distances has less long-range hit probability, slightly less recoil, less punch. However, it's cheaper, it's 1/3 of the cost, and it has 500 meter less supersonic range compared to 224 Valkyrie.
Come in low out of the rising sun, and about a mile out we'll put on the music. Music? Yeah, I use Wagner. It scares the hell out of the slopes. My boys love it. Hey, we're gonna play music!
Let's compare now the 224 Valkyrie with the bigger brothers in the AR-10 platform, so the traditional 308. The 308 Winchester of 7.62x51 NATO, it's one of the most popular medium-range military cartridges. It's effective for 600 meters and higher shots, and the 168 grain bullets have a G7 ballistic coefficient of 0.218. They become transonic and less than 500 foot-pound at around 800 meters. If we look on the right, you can see the muzzle velocity I modeled was around 2650. So it's a very good cartridge for medium distances. It's also one of the existing sniper cartridges for the US military. And it does a very good job to intermediate distances up to 600 meters. If we look at the probability of hits, you can see a very diminishing rate of hit beyond 800 meters. And you can see that vertical uncertainty variables are now much higher, whether it's temperature, range, pressure, even the rifle combination. So if you try to go, for example, at much higher ranges, is not as forgiving as other cartridges with better ballistic performance. Also the wind, you can see, and again I modeled this for 1 mile, but just to make the point and see the relative difference between the different cartridges. So if we compare now the 224 Valkyrie with the 308 Winchester, you see the 224 becomes subsonic at 1200 meters, 308 at 800 meters. So 224 Valkyrie has 400 meters higher supersonic range. It has 1/3 of the recoil and amazingly has the same punch beyond 800 meters. So beyond 800 meters offers better results. It has a slightly better long-range hit probability, but also costs 50% more. On the other hand, the 308 has 3 times the recoil and slightly less long-range hit probability. However, it has much more punch inside 800 meters. It has about 2/3 of the cost, and it has 400 meters less supersonic range. And just for fun, let's compare the 224 Valkyrie with the 338 Lapua Magnum, which you can find in the middle of the screen, which is in the end, in my opinion, one of the best long-range rifle cartridges available now, still in a somewhat portable platform. The 338 Lapua Magnum is effective for 1 mile shots. If you shoot 300 grain bullets, they have a G7 ballistic coefficient of 0.418, which is very, very good. It becomes transonic and under 1,000 foot-pound of energy at about 1,500 meters. So it's definitely a 1 mile cartridge. If we model the same probability of hit, you see for the IPSC target, we are in the 90% hit range at 1,200 meters, which is really extraordinary. Again, this is under best case scenarios. If we compare the probability of hits between 224 Valkyrie and 338 Lapua Magnum, you see that Lapua Magnum offers better long-range hit probability by 10 to 25%. However, it costs 5 times more. In exchange, it offers 4 times more punch, and it has 400 meter additional supersonic range. While on the other hand, 224 Valkyrie has 1/8 the recoil, so it's very, very mild. It has 1/5 the cost, so it's very cheap. However, it offers the same punch at 400 meters like the 338 at 1,600 meters. So definitely much less effective impact on targets from the 224 Valkyrie. And the supersonic range is 400 meter lower. I hope you enjoy our little comparison. So until next time, thank you for watching. Please stay safe and comment, subscribe and share. And I hope to see you out on the range.